Like, what do you feel like the hardest thing was to overcome?
I think it's people's perception of you. That's kind of the most frustrating thing because it's out of your control. Well, mainly out of your control.
And how did you go about overcoming that?
I think it's, I guess, getting confidence in yourself first. So if you can see somebody looking a little uneasy, you kind of break the ice first. So, oh, she's regular. She just sits down.
But every day, even today, 20 years later, or whatever it is, you feel like you're proving yourself. You have to prove yourself.
Do you have any advice for someone who may be in a similar situation and have similar injuries as you?
Basically, things get easier and your body changes so much. You know, the first few months, even the first couple of years when you first start, just your strength and your control of your body just changes, especially that first 5 years. Such a learning curve that. So you try one thing when you're first in, you think, oh, I'm never going to be able to do that, but you revisit it a couple of years later and you're such a different person physically, just as you adjust to your new body.
Mine would be just try it, because sometimes you're afraid that you're going to fail or you might embarrass yourself, but I think if you try it, you'll find a way to do things.
One good point is that everything, you can almost do anything, it's just you're going to do it in a different way or an adapted way.
It comes down to technique. You can make your house totally adapted. The real world isn't like that, so it's easier if you adapt to the world and you just learn your technique and getting in and out of showers or whatever. It comes easier once you get out there and do it.
And I think if it is like our drugs a little higher, it's like, why do you make it lower? And it's, well, when I'm older, I'll have to, yeah? So at this time, I can still do the transfers and it keeps you stronger.
And what was the hardest thing for you to learn from rehab to on your own?
Instead of like 36-inch doors, you have like 42-inch doors. Everything is wide. Everything is really well set up. Whereas in the real world, you don't find that. I've been to hotels where, I couldn't even fit through the door to go through the restroom and such. And I go to somebody else's house, I got to be very aware of where I can go, like use the restroom and cat myself and everything like that. So I guess the transition as to what you need so that you're safe, how you can function day to day was the hardest part. And then, you got to figure out your own schedule. Like, certainly for myself, like school, was important. And, being able to make like a 7:30 class or 8:30 class, like 7:30 class, I just couldn't do it, I mean, if my bowel program takes like 2 hours in the morning and I have to start at like, 5 a.m., who are you going to find to do that, if it's not your parents or somebody? And like a lot of people aren't as lucky as I am. All throughout school, I had my parents that helped me.
What was your biggest fear about being injured this way?
I think honestly, it's going to be like the relationship portion of it, whether you can move on. And it was difficult in the beginning, but you kind of sort of find your groove again. You have more, and you can offer more, and you're confident that you can do more. But yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing.
And as far as advice for newly injured patients, do you have any you wish somebody would have told you?
I don't think I have as much advice as when they're out there and they're living every single day, they realize how hard it is being a quad. I knew that I needed to learn a lot of things on my own because like the lifestyle that I wanted to live, it's not conducive to having somebody, help you out like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like I come back from college and whatever, I mean, like just a night out drinking with friends. I'm not gonna go bang on my parents' door to help throw me in bed or something silly like that. If you want to live that lifestyle, you gotta kind of learn it yourself. I think my advice, I guess, when quadriplegics realize there's a lot of things that they can do on their own, and then they just set their mind on it and work on it, figuring out how to manipulate. Because I'm gonna tell you honestly, like getting on that bed or getting on, and writing or whatever. I mean, I was a guy who just spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing it. I didn't, there's no easy way. There was like, I tried writing left-handed, I tried eating left-handed, with the transfers. I literally sat there with like my younger brother or my older brother going, okay, let's do it, and we'd be watching a game, like a football game, and I'd be sitting there trying to figure out how I'm going to get myself on this bed. And so now I can like transfer I can go like anywhere at nighttime. I don't need anybody to kind of sort of babysit me to help get me in bed and whatever. And I'll brush my teeth and, you know, get ready and wash my face, get ready for bed, and, you know, just plop myself in there. The one big thing that I always tell, you know, everybody is like, you know, learn how to manage your care. Nobody's going to take care of you but yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, you know, you're the one who's going to suffer. You're the one who's going to be screwed. If you know how to do that and you learn how to do that, then you can basically kind of sort of do anything.
Hi, I'm Candy Luscombe. This is my husband, Peter. I'm a T9L1 incomplete para and have been a para for almost 4 years now. When I became a paraplegic, I think I adjusted okay in the beginning, but once I went home, that was the hardest part for me. While I was in rehab, while I was in the hospital, no problem because you're in a nice environment, lots of space, everything works. But you go home and it's a whole different story. You have to adjust to what your house is set up to be. Anyway, Peter fixed the house so I can get around pretty easily. I think one of the most important things that I learned over the last few years is that if you go to a rehabilitation center and learn how to do things, what they're really doing is just giving you tools to work with. Because when you go home, then you take those tools and you tailor them to meet your needs. Like I remember I couldn't even pick my dog's water bowl up off the floor without spilling it all over. And it's so frustrating. Yeah, it gets really frustrating. But then you learn how you can do it. You know, I'll put my feet under or whatever it is. So life goes on. I'm involved with an organization called Access Surf. It takes people out in the water if they want to swim or surf. And actually Kate brought me out the first time and I didn't feel real comfortable. But you get out here and everybody has some sort of disability that they're dealing with, so you feel really comfortable. You know, you don't feel like you're out of place or people are staring at you or wondering what's wrong with you. But it's a real nice place to meet other people with disabilities. And then you can sort of talk with other people. They help you, you help them. It's a real safe mentoring environment, very comfortable. I took driving lessons from rehab, so I drive with hand controls, which is very easy to learn. It's not a difficult process, it's just a matter of, you know, when you do drive, you're using one hand for the gas and brake, and then you steer with the other hand. Peter gets nervous when I drive, but he was getting nervous when I drove even before I became but it's real easy. I went back to work about a year and a half after I became a paraplegic, and I worked for 2 years and recently retired just because I wanted to do other things with my life. But volunteering is really helpful. You see people who are dealing with larger challenges than what you have, and it makes you appreciate the function or the ability that you have for yourself. It's not as bad as it initially feels, though I think everybody must go through a period where they're pretty depressed, pretty disappointed in how life has changed for them.
How has it affected your guys' relationship, your marriage, the challenges you faced as a married couple?
I think more it's with me getting frustrated with not being able to do the things I want to do. I've always been really independent and do things on my own, but there are times when I need to ask for help. And I think that frustrates me, having to ask people for help sometimes. And I get impatient with myself, and so then I get angry at Peter only because he's safe. I can get angry at him.
Do you have any advice?
Just don't be scared and just do it. You don't know if you can do it until you try. So that was one of my biggest fears, I guess, because I was in a wheelchair and couldn't think I could do anything, but after a while, you see other people doing it, and you think, if they can do it, so can I. Paddling helped me a lot, learning from everybody else, asking questions.
What was really hard for you to grasp initially?
The initial thing is sitting up. I mean, it's zero core control. Eventually, I overcame it with a lot of core exercise. But when I first started driving, it was about 4 months after injury, and I had a hard time driving because I go around a turn and my upper body would just start going over, and it's like I'm grabbing the steering wheel and I'm And I've talked to, you know, quite a few patients since then, and they say the same thing. They just have this big fear. You know, there's phobias of going home and you don't have that support you did here, and the medical support. I took all my showers in the outdoor shower, and it was really easy to modify that outdoor shower for me. And so that went really well. The bathroom thing went pretty good. For the first 6 months, 9 months, you know, I had to have assistance. The bathroom thing is probably the hardest psychological thing, because being a paraplegic, you know, you have accidents a lot. And then the cathing thing, but it's the accidents. I still spend about a quarter of my life, you know, in diapers, but now it's predictable. Again,
How is it predictable?
it depends on my bowel movement in the morning.
Okay.
If I have a poor bowel movement in the morning, then, you know, better wear the diaper today.
Do you have any recommendations for newly injured patients?
Hang in there, you know, you got family and friends, and they're there to support you, and things will just take time.
Mm-hmm.
My surgeon said it best, and he had the best advice, and he said, the healing process is not going to take days, weeks, or months. It's going to take seasons. And it rang with me, and from what I see in other people, it's so true. You know, you want to get better. You want to get better now, but it takes a lot of hard work, and the hard work never stops. And that it takes time, and you get frustrated because a lot of times you don't see the progress. But if you think back 3 months ago, where was I 3 months ago? Oh, I couldn't do this, and now I can. And you gotta, you have to dwell on that, because yeah, I can. I'm better now, and I am getting better, and that does make you feel better. And so you just gotta thinking, I could do things that I couldn't do before.